everybody, welcome to today's live stream. I have the chat open. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll address them as I'm able to. What a pump. We have a lot to review today. So let's go ahead and clean up this chart a little bit, and we'll kind of review what happened here on BTC. This is, we planned for something like this. I've been saying it for a long time. So just to review, we were, let's see here, where is it? Don't tell me I accidentally deleted it. Nope, here it is. So basically, we had this previous week low right here. And I had said, what I'm looking for is for price to reject here, which we did. Get the move down, deviate this previous week low, which we did. We didn't do it exactly like how I thought I would, but nonetheless, we got the deviation. Took the long, got the trade up to here, key area of resistance, flipped it to support here, broke to the upside, and as you can see, this weekly was kind of my final target. BTC smashed through that final target that I was originally anticipating for this move. And when I say final target, I didn't mean like that's as high as it could go. I was just expecting us to get to this point, have some kind of a pullback, and then have continuation to the upside. Right, so this has exceeded all expectations by far, okay? So I'll go ahead and clean this up a little bit. Let's see here. There is another thing that I want to show you guys that we reviewed quite some time ago. So we'll go ahead and hide this. I want to bring your attention to a different chart that we review every single week, and that's our weekly chart here. And on our weekly chart, I've been explaining for quite some time that we may have a 1, 2, 3, 4. I said this really follows the characteristics of a wave 4. I've been saying this for a really long time. And I said if there's any chance of getting that move to the upside, we're going to want to see this zone hold as support. So I just want to take a look at this. We deviated the 382 on a weekly time frame and are now obviously reclaiming it, right? And gaining acceptance back inside this area of resistance. So in my opinion, like I've been saying for some time, I was really, if this area held, this does have the characteristics of a wave 4, and I don't think it's unreasonable to think that we could create new highs. So, seeing what we're seeing here, I do think it's possible that we do get this move up above our previous high here. And one thing I want to acknowledge is that being a wave 5, this is typically the wave that, oh my God, this is just so beautiful. Short lesson on Elliott waves, okay? So, impulse wave 1 is a sucker's rally, okay? People don't believe it's gonna keep going. They think that this is just another lower high and you're expecting to come down and create new lows. Wave 2 is when the bears get euphoric again and say, yep, we're expecting lower. We knew this was going to go down. They can't stop us. Wave 3 is the largest and most impulsive, get a massive move to the upside as shown by this weekly candle. And wave 4 is characterized by profit taking. It's typically a shallow and slow pullback. It's more of a consolidation pullback, which we saw here. It took many weeks to go through that. Wave 5 is characterized by good news. People saying a lot of good things about BTC, right? Like what do we have coming out? All these ETFs. Everyone's like, oh my God, these ETFs are coming out. We're all so bullish. This is typically when retail gets involved. They start buying and buying and buying because the rally just keeps on going on. It's a very fast move to the upside. And then what ends up happening is that you get your wave 5, and this is where retailers get trapped, longing the top, and you then see your subsequent move to the downside from there, right? Where basically everybody gets absolutely wrecked. All right. So in my opinion, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. This couldn't play out any better to have a wave five and to, have all of this positive news coming out, da 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 da. Like if you study Elliott wave, you'll know that that is exactly how wave five is characterized. People start calling for insane new targets. I've seen this on Twitter. People calling for 100K, people calling for 50K, 40K. They say that this is the real rally. The Bitcoin ETFs are coming. We're going to keep pumping. This is going to be a huge parabolic move. We'll never ever see new lows again. If you think you're going to buy below 20K, you're crazy. It's never coming. So this is exactly the kind of characteristic that you want to see on a wave five. It honestly couldn't be any more perfect. Okay, so here's my advice to you. Just generally speaking, when and if price gets into this zone up here and breaks this high, and everybody says that we're going to go to 100K, we're going to 50K, we all need a long, don't short, etc., etc., don't buy into it. Okay? My original plan from a long time ago. Let's see if I have it. Oof, there it is. Look at this. So this is my original plan from a long time ago. I'm going to go ahead and just move it over a little bit here. And we can see we did not get down as low as I wanted to, but we are getting this really strong push to the upside that I was calling for, right, on a wave five. So what we're seeing is this big move up. We're going to get to about this zone here. We're going to get to inside this zone, and this is where we're going to see our rejection. Okay, somewhere in here around this 35K, that's my assumption, right? That's my plan. That we'll see some kind of a rejection from this zone here after this subsequent move to the upside. All right. So if this is the case, I think it's safe to assume that we can expect, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 more weeks of, upside price action. 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks of upside price action, a period of consolidation, distribution, we would call it, and then some degree of a rejection. And my theory on this is, that we'll see a deviation back inside this range for a rejection, similarly to, having a deviation down here before getting the move up. I'd like to see a deviation up here before then the move down. Okay. And then, we'll have a little bit of a range. We'll kind of come probably back down. I don't think we'll get this low per se, but maybe somewhere in here in this 22 zone, and then kind of go from there. There's something else I want to bring to your attention. It's another channel. There it is. So we have 2 macro channels. We have our macro sideways channel here, and then we have this macro upwards channel. And we can see that the macro upwards channel does coincide with this monthly level here that was a very key SR flip zone. And it does coincide with our trend line here. It coincides with the monthly, and then it would also be then a deviation of this sideways range here. And you guys know how much I love deviations. So for me, this is a really key area of resistance, and when price does get to this zone, I will not be with the crowd. I will not be thinking that Bitcoin's going to all-time highs. I'm not going to be thinking any of that. I'm going to be looking to position myself in a swing short, and I will be very happy to do so, okay? So that's my general plan. I hope that makes sense to you guys. This is stuff that we talked about weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and I know that oftentimes this can get lost amongst all the other technical analysis, but that is my plan and has been my plan for a very long time for us to put in this wave 5, okay? Let's take a look at a couple other charts that we have here. All right, so we came down to, this all just played out perfect, by the way. I mean, I literally called this so perfect. I'm super happy with this. I never would have guessed that we would have gotten such an insane pump to the upside. But that's exactly what we're getting, and I do think it's going to lead to new highs. I do think that this high is not safe. Let's take a look here. So we've broken through the range value area high, and we've broken through a really key area of resistance for me. So we'll have to wait and see how price action goes from there. We are currently at an untapped daily level here, okay? So let's go ahead. I'm going to clean up this chart a little bit, and we'll take a look at some local price action. Now that you guys have an idea of what I'm expecting for more of a long-term move, more of the weekly time frame, the bigger time frame, right? You guys have a pretty clear idea that this, in my opinion, is a wave 5 that we've been looking for quite some time. So as we have that in mind, let's go ahead and look at some other levels, okay? Look at some other levels. So this weekly, this untapped weekly, we absolutely smashed right through it. Not a key area of resistance. This weekly here, we are currently trading above. This weekly is an extremely key area of resistance. We can see that we deviated it, back tested it, and got to move down from there. And BTC is going to attempt to tap it again. I want to look at something once actually. God, what? What channel? Pretty sure it was this one. There we go. Okay. So we are breaking above, back to this SR, back towards this SR flip zone. I'm going to hide this wedge as we do not need it anymore. Wow, look at that. These played out perfect. How about that? This level is no longer untapped. We've tapped it today. We smashed through this naked point of control. Couple naked point of controls up here that have added confluence for us. This is the naked point of control that we bounced off that I was calling for. So great, we can get rid of that. What I want to look at are some of our old channels, just to see. Oops. that. Yeah, look at this weekly order block here. It's a really nice weekly order block that we got to the 0.5 fib of. We could very well fill this, maybe deviate to the upside of it, and then, you know, get acceptance back below. In the meantime, though, we have this nice H3OB right above here, so we could see, you know, a good sweep of these highs for some degree of a rejection. It's irrelevant. We can keep this one. This is an untapped weekly level, 25930. This plan is done. Get rid of that. This key area here. Yeah. Yep. 33 billion in positive delta. 33 billion. So I've actually never seen that much delta built up into a move ever. A little bit of spot buying, but it's primarily yikes. People still shorting the life out of this move. Okay, well, all right, so here's my analysis for today. Okay. So let's keep in mind, right, just to backtrack for a second, let's keep in mind that this is likely a wave 5. Okay. It's likely a wave 5 where we're going to take out the previous high, likely get above, into that 32 to 35 zone. Okay. And then probably spend some time up there to distribute, right? So if that's the case, we go ahead and take a look at our usual chart here. A couple things that stand out to me. Yeah, we do have 32 billion in positive delta. That doesn't mean that it all has to be taken right away. Honestly, we could consolidate for a week here, and you would find that delta, would start to reset itself. Okay, that doesn't mean that all of those liquidations didn't go away from down here, but that could mean that we've started building up elsewhere, or people are closing positions, etc., etc. Okay. So when I look at this chart, the very first thing that comes to mind for me, when I look at this and I see that we're breaking through some really key resistances, I'm not going to blindly hop into a long or a short. I'm just not going to do it, especially when I look at this and I see that we have negative funding rates. In my opinion, for as long as people continue to short that heavily, then there's no reason why price cannot continue to get a move to the upside. So let's go ahead and look at this. All right, we're starting to see some shorts build up in here, but for the most part, it is quite a few longs going in at the highs. So that's a good sign. We want to see that, and we want to continue to see that in order to, you know, give us some kind of reversal. Like I said, these being very, very negative, you know, we do want to see some very positive funding rates start to show up rather than these negative funding rates, because again, it just means that we can simply continue to squeeze, right? I just do want to look at some of these real quick just to review. Okay, so price is currently trading above the day's value area, and so as long as it does continue to trade above the value area, there's no reason to think it would go back down. That said, if price were to come down to the value area, we could have a Dalton's 80% setup where we do fill down to about 26 or 28,600, where we do fill the value area there. So that's something that we can keep an eye on to see if we do get. We do have a daily naked point of control at 26,750. I'm not going to hold my breath that we do get a move down there, but I would be watching for the 80% setup. For those of you that don't know what that is, I do have a tutorial on it. You can find that on my website. So that is one thing that I would be looking for. But in the meantime, I think it's safe to say that there's really no point in opening up a short position until we get to this SR flip area that we did have as resistance, that we did deviate, have as resistance, came down here, and we're looking to revisit that zone very, very quickly. This is where I would be looking for something of a pit stop. I would like to see a move up into here, sweep these previous highs, and then, you know, we could consider some degree of a short, maybe even get some, if it could coincide with the top of this channel as well, that would be great. Okay, so that, in my opinion, this is kind of a key area to watch for right now, and to see if we can get maybe a wick to the upside, something like this, some degree of a pullback, and then likely more continuation to the upside. Okay, I would be surprised if we simply broke through and continued up, but if that was the case, it's pretty clear that we're simply looking for some degree of a move above this high, in which case we can go to our higher time frame charts and look for, you know, look for price to basically just visit this area of resistance, you know, getting a move above here, something like this, right? And then we would look to trade it back down probably somewhere into this zone here, where it could possibly find some support before then possible continuation to the upside. Okay. So that's my opinion. First, we'll watch for a sweep here. If we get a sweep, great, we can trade it down. If price simply breaks through, then we look for a sweep here, right? That we can then trade down. So these are my two scenarios that I would be looking for some kind of a short trade. But until then, basically, if you short this, you're just standing in front of a freight train waiting to get run over, right? So I'll leave it at that. I don't see any. I don't see any questions here. I'm sorry to hear that my voice was low. Let me know sooner next time, and I'll try to make some adjustments for the next stream. Anyway, so that's basically what I'm looking for. I'll look at this zone, and then ultimately we're looking for that. But again, just bear in mind that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So ultimately, I am looking for some kind of a move above this previous high here to ultimately wrap up this move. Okay. So we'll go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys all for watching. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the Discord, and I'll do my best to address those questions. Okay. But again, exercise caution. I do think that we're coming up on a point that prices, you know, it can't go straight up like this forever. So again, we have two really key areas. This key SR flip zone that we deviated, back tested. We could have a sweep of these highs here. Great possible short opportunity. You'd kind of go like this, look for a trigger short here, and then trade it back down. Otherwise, we look to, short a move up or a sweep at this previous high here. And again, keeping in mind that we are looking for ultimately a wave 5 that could result somewhere between 32 and 35K. Okay. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.